As guardians of our province's history, the Royal BC Museum and Archives is grateful for donations of historic value from the public. But a collection donated in 2008 has truly dazzled staff and researchers. More than 30,000 fossils, all gathered by one man over 40 years. Veronica Cooper has more.
Collections manager Margie Johns places an ammonite on a shelf. Ammonites were squid-like creatures with a shell that went extinct about 65 million years ago. More than 30,000 were donated by one man to the Royal BC Museum in 2008. The ammonites are now being studied and prepared by students and researchers.
When we are out in the field, we see indications on the surface. So there could be a bulge in the ground.
And in that bulge is an ammonite that once thrived in an ancient marine basin between Vancouver Island and continental North America.
The matrix formed around these organisms after they died, like a snowball. It built up, and then that gives us a specific target we can seek when we're out in the field.
Preparing the fossil can take anywhere from a few hours to a few days.
We use specialized pneumatic tools called air scribes and rotary tools till we see the shell, and then even more fine work takes place to remove it in contact with the actual specimen itself.
So how did ammonites live?
A lot of researchers think things like this probably were predatory, going after things like small fish, maybe bivalves, things like that. However, some of them were a bit more ungainly looking, and it's difficult to imagine how they might have had the power to swim at all.
And how did one man who wishes to remain anonymous collect 30,000?
He would spend hours and hours, sometimes days, and he would go back to these sites and he would bury them again before he left the site, because it's a very competitive world out there and somebody else might come and take the fossil that he had initially found. So he would bury it again and come back, usually the next day, sometimes 4 in the morning. We've met him up there at 4 in the morning collecting. He's an amazing individual and still must be in his 70s. Still out collecting.
And contributing to a huge heritage and knowledge resource for future generations.
This Week in History, brought to you by the Royal BC Museum, bringing British Columbia's stories together.